Um, I met Kathy, I think, I guess I heard her speak at some conferences because she was a public image um, coordinator for a while. And then when our zone, which I think all of you know about, was in Cleveland, um, she came through Rolling with Rotary. And that's when we started talking a little bit more. And I think you might mention that this morning and talk a little bit about what Rolling with Rotary was. But Kathy has been a Rotarian since 2006, long before I met her. And she lives in Spirit Lake, Iowa. She's a former Rotary ambassadorial scholar. She was in Canberra, Australia, and maybe you want to tell us briefly what your project was
Well,
there, what you
that's
did.
also in my, I'll be
Good,
talking about that too.
good, because that's so exciting. Maybe that's something Lulu would want to do someday. Um, and in 2014, she was selected to be one of 32 young professionals to attend the inaugural Rotary Young Professionals Summit in Chicago. And from there, she got involved with the Rollin' with Rotary project. I imagine through Jennifer Jones, who's a powerhouse of enthusiasm and who rolled along with the Rotarians in their RV. And what they did was to bring attention to Rotary by performing random acts of kindness all across the Midwest while driving along through in an RV. It was very cool for those of us who got to see it. And then in October of 2015, she got invited back to the Rotary Young Professionals Advisory Council. And following completion of her year as district governor in 2014-15, she assumed the position of Zone 28 Assistant Rotary Coordinator, and she's just completed her term as the Zone 29 Rotary Public Image Chair, which I'm sure she'll explain to you also. She's done a lot of training at the International Assembly, and she's the marketing chair for Hand Wash, which is the Haiti National Clean Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene Initiative. And it's one of those Rotarian interest groups that I've mentioned a couple of times on our webpage, and I've given you some links to other Rotarian interest groups that people have working on specific projects. Kathy, in her professional life, owns and operates K Brand Marketing, a marketing consulting business. And she's also a partner in her family's grain farm in north central Iowa. And I've seen pictures of her driving a tractor. So I know for sure she does it. She's a part-time farmer. So Kathy, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And I thought her experience in all the different things she's done in Rotary would help us to get a really good sense of what is Rotary. So take it away, Kathy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. Let me share my screen here. Is everyone able to see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Wonderful. So I want to start today to tell you a little story. I would like to tell you how my first impression of Rotary. So 23 years ago, I was lucky enough to be selected as an ambassadorial scholar. That is now currently called a global scholar in Rotary. And at the time, I will honestly tell you that a Rotarian in a neighboring town that I lived in reached out to me and said, have you ever considered doing graduate school overseas in another country? And I'm from a town of 800 people and originally, and I said, no, not really. I mean, for me to go out of the state was pretty impressive. And he says, well, you know, Kathy, I think that there's this Rotary scholarship that I think you should apply for. And so I applied. Long story short, I received it and was lucky enough to go to Canberra, Australia for a year for graduate school. And I remember being on the airplane. I had been out of Iowa. I traveled the United States some for different school projects, and through college, because this would have been grad school, but had never been overseas before. And I remember being on the plane, and it's a long plane ride, and in the middle of it thinking to myself, what am I doing? I know no one in this country. I barely know what Rotary is. I only knew what I'd read at the library. The internet was just starting. And so I landed and I thought, I sure hope this Rotarian is picking me up, because I don't even know exactly where the university is. And I landed, and this gentleman right here by the name of John Carter that you see on screen found me at the airport and said, Kathy, my name is John Carter with the Belconnen Rotary Club, and I hope that you are not too tired, because our entire Rotary Club has a special meeting right now just to welcome you. And that's exactly what happened. We went to another Rotarian's house where there were about 35 families. And it wasn't just the Rotarian, it was their spouses. Some of them brought their kids, and they welcomed me. One family gave me linens, bedding, towels, and things to use, because I actually stayed in the dorms on campus. Another family brought me an actual desktop computer to use with a dial-up modem. Another family brought me a variety of posters and wall hangings and said, pick out what you want to decorate your room so it feels more at home. That was my first experience with Rotary. Needless to say, I spent the entire year spending time with, as you can tell, there were only a few female Rotarians in their club at the time. It's changed a lot now. I spent a lot of time with these Rotarians and their families. Every time someone invited me to go somewhere, I went and did the experience and really embraced the fellowship of Rotary and had the most amazing experience of my life. And I can honestly tell you that it was almost harder to leave, to fly back home after that year than it was when I got there, to leave my family here. I still remain in touch with about 10 families on a regular basis. One of the families just came to visit me last year in Iowa, and it was like 23 years had never passed, which is exciting. So anyway, that was my first impression of Rotary, and that's part of my Rotary story. I came back to actually Sioux Falls, South Dakota, got a job with an advertising agency, and kept saying that I wanted to get involved in Rotary. I want to be involved in Rotary. Ironically, 10 years passed. 10 years passed before someone said to me, hey, weren't you a Rotary scholar? And I said, yes. And they said, would you like to be my guest at Rotary? Sure. And they didn't even ask me to be a member. I walked in and said, how do I sign up? I had wanted to be a Rotarian. I just never got around to it. So this is just some photos of some service projects. The club that I'm involved in, the Iowa Great Lakes, we take great pride in a park, a children's park. We've added playground equipment, we plant trees, we do a variety of things, and we have quite the mix of ages in our Rotary Club, which is wonderful. So that's really where I got my start with Rotary. And to me, Rotary is giving back for the amazing experience that I received. I want to help other Rotarians experience the friendship and fellowship that I received. As Catherine stated, I've been district governor and was also selected for the Young Professionals advisory thing through Rotary International headquarters in Evanston. During that experience, I met some amazing people and really created some bonds with some Rotarians. As a result, the four of us that you see there, and then Jennifer Jones is in the front. Jennifer is a past Rotary International Vice President. She is currently a trustee with the Rotary Foundation and one of the most genuine, easy to talk to people you'll ever meet in your life. And she's also empowering. When Jason and Adam and Marie and myself came back from Young Professional Summit, she asked us to give a presentation at Zone Institute on it. And we talked about that. And at the end of the conversation, she said, do you have any other big ideas? What else came about from this summit? How do we get young people involved? And we kind of were quiet on the phone. And I said, could we talk briefly and then get back to you on that? Because we have a few ideas. We just want to flesh them out a little bit more. And we called her back a few days later and asked if she was sitting down, because we actually pitched to her. The four of us wanted to quit our jobs and go in an RV and travel around the country for a year and promote Rotary. And she said, she said, freaking awesome idea. And she said, let me get back to you. And she came back to us and said, okay, we need to do a pilot project first. I don't know about a year. That's a little crazy. We said, how about a month? And she said, how about 10 days? And so our first Rolling with Rotary was born. And I'm going to share a video with you now.
On August 1st, 2015, Rolling with Rotary revved its engines for the first time and set out to show that Rotary is cool, hip, and relevant. Our goal? To use our personalities and our creativity to do great things in Rotary's name while inspiring, energizing, and connecting with others across the United States. For 8 days, traveling to 14 cities, we got down and dirty. We danced. We smiled. We meditated. We connected with strangers and with friends. We hung out with Rotaract and Interact. We celebrated with Rotary clubs by highlighting both the areas of focus, such as clean water and polio eradication. We highlighted Rotary affiliate organizations such as Shelter Box by drinking filtered water from the Detroit River and putting together shelter box tents. We assisted Rotary clubs in their own local community projects, such as writing cards for kids in the hospital and Random Act of Kindness Day. Here's an example.
Hi, how are you doing today? Rotary Club of Cleveland is giving you this $1 to pay it forward. Do something nice for somebody else today.
Oh, that's cool. We wanted to do something that was never done before through Rotary. Through every interaction, through every handshake, hug, sweat, and tear, and through all our social media, we sought to find ways to break the mold and inject something new and fresh. We wanted to inspire current members and create interesting stories to entice new members. We even picked up a few members along the way. This is what one young lady had to say.
Hey, what's your name?
Mindy.
Mindy, did you have a good time today?
I had a great time. How do you get involved in Rotary?
Over 80 bikers in full biker gear and their motorcycles escorted us on our way to Ann Arbor after successfully raising over $10,000 for the Wounded America Project. People pulled to the side of the road taking pictures of the RV, an RV decorated with the Rotary wheel and logo, sharing with their friends and family through social media. Proclamations, newspaper articles, TV news crews, and your support through social media has reached millions of people across the globe. So what was the impact of Rolling with Rotary? Let's find out.
It was an honor for the 80-plus motorcycles to help escort Director Jennifer and her team from Rolling with Rotary to Ann Arbor, while at the same time raising over $11,000 for Wounded America to support our wounded veterans. Go Rotary!
PDG Tom Fallon from District 7300. Thank you so much, Rolling with Rotary, for helping out our community action days and our water walk. You've put so much fun and excitement into our program.
Most important effect was the enthusiasm that it brought to the entire event for the One Rotary Summit. It really gave people an idea that there's some young folks out there who have great ideas and really want to do something to make Rotary stronger than it ever has been before.
In Ann Arbor really energized our club members. We had over 80 Rotarians participating in the commemorative polio march through the university campus. Along the way, we picked up other members of the community, a group of ROTC cadets, and even the campus Hare Krishna group who sang along as we marched. It was truly a fun event for all involved. Thank you, Rolling Rotary team, for choosing Ann Arbor as one of your stops. We are Rotary.
During the Rolling with Rotary tour that came to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, we had all of our local clubs participate in days of service projects that really impacted individuals in our community specifically. Without the help of all the clubs, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish as much, and we thank the Rolling with Rotary tour for taking the time to stop in Cedar Rapids and encourage all of our clubs to do projects collectively to impact globally.
This is not our story. These images and video depict the first of many chapters out of the Rolling with Rotary novel. We may have started the engine, but it's all of you that will keep us rolling.
So what's your name, dear?
Alexis.
Alexis. What are you doing?
Holding my piggy bank.
Cool. What would you do with this piggy bank?
I would put money and towards in it.
And then what would you do with it?
Donate it to local schools, people who might need it more than I do.
Why is that important to you?
Because we're helping other people in our community.
So that was just a brief overview. We spent 9 days on the road, and we did. What we did was we reached out to Rotary clubs that were in those communities, and said we would like to come through, help you with either a service project, to a random act of kindness days, and we just brainstormed ideas. The motorcycle ride, surprisingly, happened within 4 hours. They put that together. The day before, we realized that we had a morning open that didn't have anything scheduled. We reached out to Larry Wright, the gentleman on the talk there, and he says, you know, we have a very active group of motorcycle enthusiasts in our club, and they have friends. And every single one of those individuals who rode on that ride that day donated between $125 and $250 to the wounded veterans within 4 hours. That came together from the night before to that morning, and within 4 hours, we thought we'd show up and there'd be 20 bikes. We came around the corner and there were over 80 bikes, and they even had the law enforcement escort us. It was amazing. The partnerships that you connect with, we weeded gardens, we did water walks to show people how far women and children in a lot of countries have to walk to get clean water each day. And we walked through Perrysburg, Ohio, with carrying water buckets, and it was not easy. We had 3 different sizes of buckets for different sizes of family members and to carry. And the lady who asked, how do you get involved in Rotary? I walked with her for a while and honestly thought she was a Rotarian. It wasn't until she asked me how she'd get involved in Rotary that I realized she wasn't a Rotarian and wanted to learn more. So there's a lot of fun things. We made cards. We had a kids' day in Madison, Wisconsin. A local bank donated the little ceramic piggy banks, and we had kids decorate them. And we talked about the importance of saving and giving when you're able to. And so that was a lot of fun, and it was really neat to see 4 or 5 of the kids actually drew the Rotary logo on their piggy bank from the sign. So, you know, there's just so many things that don't have to be super expensive, but there are ways that you can do things for your community and partner with other organizations. And that's exactly what we were trying to show clubs with this, and to energize clubs, that you can think out of the box, try some new things for awareness, and do that. So that's a little about Rolling with Rotary. I can honestly go on with that for a lot longer, and I can take some questions at the end. But I want to tell you a little bit of my story, just because I believe Rotary is what you make it. There are a lot of learning opportunities and opportunities to come up with new ideas in Rotary, and you're in the prime position, being a new club, to define how you want your Rotary experience to be. And there are so many things in Rotary with learning and professional development as well. And these have really been enhanced in the last couple of years. Rotary.org, the Learning Center, if you go to rotary.org/learn. Now, I will tell you that you might experience some glitches this weekend. They launched the brand new My Rotary yesterday, and it is still kind of going in and out. Hopefully by the end of the weekend, it will be good to go. But the Learning Center has a lot of online courses about a variety of topics, and this is what the homepage looks like when you get to it. I just want to kind of run through a few of these, and I highlighted a few. These are some of the self-guided topics that you can go and follow through. Anything from building a diverse club. I have to put in building Rotary's public image because I'm a former public image chair. But we also have an agreement with Toastmasters now, Rotary does. And Toastmasters has helped us do some of these learning centers, including delivering a speech and developing a speech. Those were done in conjunction with Toastmasters. Understanding conflict. There's different things there's even getting started with the Learning Center and the different topics and how to navigate them, how to give an inspirational speech, how to do interpersonal communication and networking, how to lead change. There's planning your projects, Rotary basics, and then getting started with our Toastmasters partnership and how you can do that. So there's a lot of self-guided, any Rotarian. You do need to have an account on My Rotary, but all you have to do is log in. There's no fee, there's nothing. This is all part of our membership. And so if you haven't been in the Learning Center, I encourage you to visit it. And then once you're in there, you see the course catalog when you first go online. But up in the corner, if you click on the 3 bars, it gives you a menu. And you can click on learning topics. And there's a plethora of things in here. When you click on learning topics, this year, for instance, our International Convention breakout sessions are recorded. And this is where you can see a lot of those breakout sessions. Under meeting online, there's a whole section there with how to make your online meetings. These are presentations that people have done to make online meetings more exciting. There's also other ones in here, clubs that record exciting presentations or educational things. They can submit those on here. So there's a variety of Rotary-led presentations that are really good and from all over the world. So it's a great place to do some learning. And with the Learning Center, you know, you can grow personally and professionally by developing some new skills that you can use in your club or in your work. You earn some virtual badges and points if you want to compete on a local leaderboard. So we are actually, our president-elect training in our area is actually trying to put this together so that we can have our president-elects of our clubs do these and compete and see how many can do some of the courses before we get to our training. And you can track progress, print certificates, all of that fun stuff. So if you haven't gone to the Learning Center, this is a great benefit of membership that has really been enhanced. And I would say has grown exponentially just through the course of this pandemic. There's at least 3 new public image tracks or sessions that have gone up online in the last 2 months from Rotary International. So there's a lot of new things on here to check out. So I just wanted to make you aware of that because there's so many wonderful things there. So this is where you can visit the Learning Center again. Like I said, if you try to do it this weekend, it might be a little iffy, but hopefully after this weekend, the new site will be good to go. I do want to just kind of end in here with a quote that in the latest Rotary magazine, Holger Kanak is our current international president, and that's his photo there. And inside the Rotary magazine, he has a message each month, and this is just an excerpt out of his message, which I think really sums it up. Rotary is not just a club that you join. It's an invitation to endless opportunities. We believe creating opportunities for others and ourselves. We believe that our acts of service, large and small, generate opportunities for people who need our help, and that Rotary opens opportunities for us to live a richer, more meaningful life with friends around the world based on our core values. As you can see here, Rotary Connects the World is our internal theme this year. And I really think that Holger kind of sums that up because I told you a little bit about my story. I have a lot of other Rotary stories. And your stories don't have to be as grand as mine are right now. Your Rotary stories can be just starting. But what will your Rotary story be? And you can really, truly define that. Some Rotary stories just happen, and some of them we drive. The Rollin' with Rotary, if it wasn't for us giving a crazy brainstorm idea to Jennifer, and Jennifer saying, I think we can do that, and empowering us, we probably never would have done that. We would have just let that idea disappear in the sunset. And as a result, we've done 2 of the tours on the RV. So we've done, one was 10 days, one was 9 days. And then we've done little pop-up weekend things. We've done about 5 or 6 little weekend events where we've popped up in different areas and helped clubs with large service projects where Minneapolis pulled 4 clubs together and we planted 3,000 trees in a day. That was one of the things that we did. And so I guess what I want to say is the sky's the limit.